So yeah, I'm going to try not to keep you too long. And there's probably going to be a lot of information on that you might already know about, especially you, but it's really good to just take notes, take some tips that you might not have heard of. As you guys probably know, me and Emma work together quite a lot. So when we do meet up and have our little get-togethers and training sessions, we just like we pick, even though we know what we know through business, we still pick up on little things, and we're like, light bulb moment. So if there's stuff that you kind of think, oh yeah, I know about that, that's great. It's good to recap knowledge, and it's always good to kind of hear how other people do things, maybe through finance, social media, automation, not cars, AI. So yeah, always good to just make sure you jot everything down, get it down on your notes, and then you can look back and kind of look at it against what you're doing now, and maybe what if there's anything that you want to change. So I'm going to pop on to the presentation and share my screen. So give me one sec. I'm going to ask you if there is anything that pops up that looks like it's shouldn't be there. Just drop me a message. Okay, so welcome to the SheScale Growth Framework webinar. I am really excited to do this today because, as I said, we've all got our own little ways of doing things, and you might go through this whole webinar and think, God, yeah, I get it. But if you've already done all the things that are in here, then you're on track. So that's brilliant. That's what you need. If not, and you pick up extra tips, that's great. I can't really see my chat box at the minute. So if you have got questions, please whack them in the chat box. Nobody else can see it. And I will go back at the end and go through them, or I'll drop you a message personally. So don't feel like you can't ask any questions as we go along. Today, we're just kind of going to explore strategies that every entrepreneur tries to employ tries to employ and scale into their business. So I've put this together to kind of provide you with just general practical tools and insights that you can apply. And if you are already applying it, that's great. You can give yourself a big tick and a big pat on the back. So just keep in mind that this session isn't solely about acquiring new strategies. It's also about transforming your mindset. I know a lot of people really struggle with mindset, struggle about getting clients and things like that. So generally how to approach your business day to day, and then how we progress. So just stay really open-minded, take as much notes down as you can, and then like I say, I will try and answer any questions at the end. So just before we get going, some of you already know me, some of you don't, or know little bits about me, but why I feel like I can do these sort of masterclasses and webinars. I've always had a real entrepreneurial spirit, as you all have, because that's why you're here and that's why you're doing what you do. When I was younger, I was really passionate about horses, and I was a kid, so I'd go off and get people to pay me to ride their horses. That then was the start, and I'm sure you guys did that yourself, and you had something that you would say, oh guys, if you pay me to do this, I'll do that. Or if you pay me to mow your lawn, that is the start of your journey of being like a businesswoman or a businessman. So, it really starts quite young. And I think there is a difference between the people who sit in the 9 to 5 and the people who just want to work for themselves. So I did a lot of that. And then I always wanted to work for myself. So I PT'd and had a little business PTing when I left school. I then ran a really successful equestrian business where I sold and trained horses. And alongside that, I had my beauty and cosmetics business, as most of you know about. Scaled that alongside the horse business, and in the end, couldn't manage both, along with a baby, because I had a child as well. It all took off, the beauty took off, and that was it. And then grew my beauty business and my cosmetics business. I have had like other jobs around what I do, not anymore. But you know, if there was a lull, maybe while I was at university and things like that, I did work the normal 9 to 5 jobs, and I just didn't fit in. It just wasn't for me, as you can imagine. You've probably come across some messages that I have put in the group, and I am pretty blunt. I'm pretty straight up, and as you can imagine, people in a 9 to 5 recruitment office wouldn't be able to deal with that. So I like to work for myself, and I want to prove to other people that it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what you want to create, because today is about proving that whatever you do, you can absolutely do it alongside having children and alongside having other businesses. So I hope that fills you with a little bit of faith that we've all been here, and it takes a long time to scale, but you absolutely can. So I hope that gives you, it's a very quick and short insight, but a little insight into me. So I think starting with mindset is a really good option. So the foundation of every sort of 5, 6, 7 figure business really starts with mindset. And yours, oh, I've got somebody else.
No, it's me. Your presentation's gone off.
Has it?
Yeah.
Was serious enough.
1 sec.
3 people who was jailed for the mass also.
Four others, including.
I'm going to mute them, and then I'm going to put it back on, and then can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
You pop out the force. 4 years ago, 2 men.
Okay, we're back.
From a
supermarket
car park in
Hey? It's just you and your pretty face.
That's not good.
Assume he jabbed in and sucked in instead. Skoda was rammed off the road and they died.
We're very good at building businesses, but technology, you're much better at it than I am. No, it's not there, no.
Oh, right there.
Unless anyone else can see it and I can't, it's just me that can't.
Can anyone see that?
No, it's gonna.
Oh dear. Can't see that.
And affair with Anthony, who was married. When she ended the relationship and refused to answer his calls, so he threatened to send explicit
there we go.
messages to her husband and their
Can you
son,
see that?
Yeah.
that she would speak to him.
We're back in business.
We're back in business, guys. Sorry about that. Yes, we're very good at what we do, but technology is not all good. Can you mute yourself?
Yeah, it just says click to exit full screen now. It's blurred it.
Begging for help. Moments later, she's
there we go.
Can you see that? I'm just going to leave it like that.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So where was I? Yeah, so your strategy doesn't really mean anything if your mindset isn't ready to hold on to the success that you're going to create, because you're going to create a lot of success if you really put everything into your business. And I don't like to give myself too many pats on the back, but I am living proof that you can build whatever business you want to build and make it work. So let's explore the concepts of the growth versus between the fixed mindset, because growth mindset allows you to see the challenges as opportunities for learning and development, whereas your fixed mindset is definitely going to limit your potential by keeping you in a comfort zone. I feel like we all know about that. So you need to really ask yourself, are you playing small because of your fixed mindset? So if you are, this is a point where you can pop in the comments or any questions of how we need to get out of that, and like where you feel you are right now, because being in a fixed mindset and not allowing yourself to kind of open to new ideas will really hold you back. You need to also like recognize the ways that we self-sabotage. So this could be through procrastination, trying to be perfect at everything, or one of the biggest things that I find is avoiding risks. You've got to take risks, you've got to spend money, you've got to invest to be able to grow. Yes, you can do it on a small level, but if you're not investing yourself into new courses or education, your own knowledge, or worrying about that you can't get clients and things like that, then I do feel like you will struggle to move forward. So you need to identify the behaviors that you're having to be able to move forward. And I'm sure we all self sabotage, it is very normal. So remember that shifting your mindset, it's a continuous journey, and don't feel that if you're really new into the industry that you're in, that you're kind of not moving because of it, because you will. You've just got to keep pushing and embarking on your little journey, and you've got to remember to just let go of limiting your own beliefs. You all deserve success, so it's important that you kind of allow yourself to be successful, and it does mean sometimes by, like I said, putting money in somewhere to get something out of it. um, you're not going to get very far if you're not prepared to invest in yourself. So as we do this together, I want you to really commit to nurturing your own mindset, because that is what fuels us, our passion, our drive, our ambitions, and each step that we take towards like fulfilling our potential begins with our own capabilities. Now, you're all here probably because you've started a business or you want to start something new. So that's the first step taken, which is amazing. The next thing I would say is really the power of community. So I think like Emma, she's started the membership. It really pushes people to do better. And I think it's been amazing for anyone beginning in any industry to know that other people are struggling. So getting yourself around the right people, investing yourself into asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to feel like you don't know something. I think the community side of things is really important, and having a support network, because if you can surround yourself with people who have got the same visions and the same perspectives, you're all going to celebrate together as we do. So, you know, the biggest thing is there's no I in team. You can't do it all on your own. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to have that community. Even if you start your own little community of people that are local to you or whatever, it's really important that you've got people that support you. I know myself that I can just message Em whenever I want, or give her a call, or be like, oh my God, and she can do the same to me. And we just go, right, this is what we do. And that's what everybody needs. I think it's really, really important. So let's move on to another issue with mindset, and that is imposter syndrome. It's something that all successful individuals will experience, and it can be a real significant bottleneck in your journey. If you're not feeling imposter syndrome, I would say that's a sign that you're not actually challenging yourself enough. That probably sounds a little bit harsh, but I would say you need to really work hard on pushing your limits. Going back to the previous slide of mindset, one real good practical step is to kind of keep a bit of a hype file of your client wins and your personal achievements. You damn should have a personal file on client wins and your achievements, because you've done that. and you need to keep reminding yourself of what you've done and what you're capable of, and that will give such a positive impact into your journey and what you're doing. So the same with having a bit of a storyboard or a vision board. Have everything on there that you want, and I can guarantee you, you keep manifesting the shit out of that storyboard and it will happen, because you'll make it happen. So please just remember, everybody is in the same situation in regards to how you feel, your mindset. It's a tough world to be in your own head. So just remember, community is so important. And just remember to give yourself a little pat on the back through your achievements. They could be this small, and that is absolutely okay. I think it's really important to remember that. I hope everyone's okay so far. Any questions, again, please pop them into the comments. I'm hoping you can all see my slides still. Right then. So let me just see. This concept of identity shift is a crucial step in evolving from being a bit of a freelancer to having that CEO mindset. So begin by, I think, really emphasizing the importance of your own journey. And you've got to shed that freelancer mindset. You have got to be the CEO of your life. So please remember that you're the person building it. So don't keep feeling like you've got to take like answers or control off anybody else. This is what you want to do, and it's really important that you push yourself in that way and have that strategic thinking. I also think it's important to delegate and let go of things that you can't control, and that will move like a lot more things out the way for you to be able to grow. If you've got a team under you, maybe you're a little bit further in your journey and you've got people around you, give them the jobs, give them the small admin roles, give them the small social media things, because you can't take on absolutely everything. So if you are delegating, you are freeing up your own time to become better, to become a better CEO. And I think also, as a CEO, your role is to guide and lead, not to be involved in every single detail. So like I said, make sure you delegate little things, set clear boundaries for yourself and the people that are working for you, or if you've got anyone helping you out, because that's how we're going to be able to really kind of push your business forward. So I'm struggling to see my own screen here. Okay. What I'm going to do is just move this. So let's move into finance. I'm aware I don't want to keep you too long on each slide. So if there's anything that we need to go over, remember, please pop it in. And if you need to drop me a message on Instagram or on the group, then or WhatsApp, then please feel free to. So secondly, finance. Understanding and managing your own finance is so essential for growing, becoming wealthy, and ensuring that you've got your own peace of mind in your own business. Recognizing the importance of knowing your numbers. That is a massive thing. If you don't know your numbers, how the hell are you going to be able to make informed decisions? How are you going to be aware and have clarity of your own financial situation? It's really crucial to avoid the head in the sand situation. If you're there, we need to get you out of there, and we need to understand your own numbers. No matter how big you are or how small you are, you should know exactly what's going to your accountants or what's going out, and definitely what's coming in. Or even the small things like what you're paying out for, stuff that's subscriptions and things like that. It's really important that you know exactly where you stand in your own business. Another key point is between the revenue and the profit. So like I just said, you know exactly what's going out and what's coming in. You need to know your own revenue, and that is the only way that you're going to be able to grow. And then lastly, establish sort of maybe a routine of weekly financial check-ins. I think that's really important. Whatever you're doing in business, block out 2 hours at the end of the week to just go through everything, whether it's finance, what clients you've got in, who's coming that's new, who's not came to you for a while or said, oh, I can't come for a while because of this and this. It happens, that's normal. But I think you need to stay really proactive. And by setting yourself a couple hours aside each week, it's not a lot of time, but you can just have a strategic way of putting your numbers in a spreadsheet, or, AI is amazing now, so you could pop something into Claude or ChatGPT. Claude is amazing, by the way, if you haven't heard about it, especially for business. I do a lot on Claude. ChatGPT answers the questions that I need, but Claude puts everything together. So if you want to put maybe some PowerPoints together or carousels for your business, we'll go on to that in social media, but Claude is amazing. So yeah, anything that you can do at the end of your week to keep on top of everything is really important, that you're keeping check-in on yourself consistently. You've got to commit to that, because if you're in head in the sand, business will become stagnant at some point. Again, if that's something that you want to talk a little bit more about, then please, drop me a message and I will help you where I can, or try and seek some guidance from financial experts. Usually most accountants will give you an hour of their time and tell you where you need to be. So I think ultimately taking charge of your finances is, I think, is one of the main things that I think you need to focus on as well. It's not just about getting your clients in, it's not just about your social media. It really is important for you to be able to grow, knowing what money you're spending and what money is coming in. So, pricing for profit. Now, I know this is one that a lot of people struggle with. It is a pivotal topic in understanding how to position your business effectively within the market that you're in. So when you set your prices too low, I think this can have a real knock-on effect. You're not just undervaluing your own work, but you're also potentially like harming your business sustainability. So when people put really low prices on their work, if someone was offering a service for 3 times the amount less, I probably wouldn't go to them, because that would concern me. No matter what service or what business that you're in, we all know that it takes time to be educated, invest, and get your business to where you've got it through experience. So if I looked at somebody that was offering a treatment or a service based, anything service based that was like much lower, I would probably avoid them. So you need to remember that. I know it's scary to put prices up, but I think it's really important that you don't undervalue yourself. Your pricing should reflect the quality of work that you do and the value that you offer. Again, the time that you've invested in the education. And also, it's about positioning yourself as a leader in your industry. Whether you feel like you're a leader or not, you are, and that's what you need to prove to people. There was loads of times where I felt I wasn't good enough. Back to imposter syndrome. Doing something, whether that was with horses or with the beauty business, but I did it anyway. And that is the only way you're going to get confident. I think it's really important that you just go for it and do it. But then I think there is a difference between your value-based and time-based pricing. So something to note down maybe. So I always say to people, no matter what you're doing in business, make sure that you're making profit from it. If you're doing a treatment for half an hour and it's going to cost £10, or you could go and do a course that you're going to do a treatment in an hour for £200, I would definitely be investing my time into that course that's going to give me that profit. So that's definitely something for you to think about, your value-based pricing and your time-based pricing. Shifting to like a value-based mindset can significantly like enhance your profitability and your market positioning. But it's also good to remember that, like I just said, if you can make £200 in an hour or £20 in an hour, which one are you going to go for? You're gonna want the £200 an hour. Well, I hope you would anyway. I hope you can see yourselves doing that. It's the same for me. If I do some lashes that take me an hour and I get 30 quid for it, but then I know in an hour and a half I can do some brows and that costs £250, I'm definitely going to push my services that do PMU. So that's something that you really need to think about, what you're doing in your business, what treatments you've got, what services you've got, and is it worth your time? Because if it's not, you need to be investing yourself into something that will be. And then finally, I'm going to touch a little bit on the psychological power of premium pricing. So higher prices can still instill a sense of exclusivity and increased perceived value, which is hard for some people, especially people that can't afford more higher premium treatments. But there is an audience out there that can. You need to remember, like what I'd said before, how much worth and value your time is, and what you've educated in yourself, what finances are going out, and seek out your quality clients, because if you're seeking out 100 clients paying £10 an hour, that is a lot of graft. So I think, if you're seeking out higher clients that are, say, you get only 3 a day, but they're all paying £300, that's where I think you need to be thinking. I think that's really important. So as you kind of refine your pricing strategy, just keep in mind the adaptability. So yes, whilst I want those higher PMU clients, I do have my diary fillers, so I'll still do lashes, I'll still do brow laminations or lash lifts. Do I enjoy doing it? No, but £40, £45 for a lash lift for 45 minutes is better than not having that diary filled at all. So I'm not saying that you need to price everything really high, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have the other things, it's just having that nice balance. But don't undervalue yourself and take lower treatment prices just because you think you're not good enough, because that's not the way we roll, ladies. That is not the way we roll. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Hope everyone's okay so far. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly click on here. Okay, no value. Okay, I'll come back to you on that. I will. There's just a couple of messages. I will come back to those questions. I'm hoping you can all see my PowerPoint again. Emma, if you can't, please message me. Okay, so making your money work for you. We have covered that a little bit. But I think the first key point here is that you can't save your way to $1 million. Yeah, you can't. It's impossible. Saving is good, but you need to strategically reinvest, and that is so important. And I think there's a lot of people probably a lot of people that are on this webinar that do like permanent makeup and things like that and beauty understand that you do need to invest your time to create more of your future. So I mean, it takes some thoughtful thinking for the people that aren't doing that right now, but the more you can strategically invest your money and your time, I promise you it will yield return in the future. So you could also think about it if you're into coaching or mentorship. You know, there's a lot of people in here also that do like courses. So you then need to consider investing your time into giving out delegation, like we said before. So you're freeing up time so you can still invest in yourself. And this is what's going to propel you forward. Another kind of area is at the bottom, you can see where it says you're building like a cash runway, which is, I would say, any cash runway should be around 3 to 6 months. I think this ensures that your business has a safety net. So I kind of know where I am in 3 months, and I pretty much know where I'm going to be in 6 months' time. If you don't know that, you need to get a mind map down and work that out. Something that we could absolutely do together. But you need to make sure you've got safety nets. You need to make sure that you've got no pressure of immediate financial constraints. And remember that each investment is a step towards sustaining growth and long-term success. So by strategically reinvesting in these key areas that we've spoke about, you're not just safeguarding your current position, you're setting the stage for future opportunities, and more innovation, because the more that you do, the more that you're going to want to do, and the more you're going to want to invest your time into becoming better. So a lot of people start in the industry maybe as like permanent makeup artists, or as beauticians, and they've worked their way up to then being able to teach people. And there's going to be beginners in here that think, oh my god, I could never do that. But so that's what everybody else thought. So you've got to have that vision, and that's where your vision board comes back to play. If you manifest the shit out of what you want for your future, I promise you it will happen. I'm a bit weird with manifestation. I think it's amazing. Some of you might be thinking, oh my God, what's she talking about? But honestly, the more you can really believe in what you want, money, when you want to become a millionaire, you can, like, just manifest the shit out of it. You're gonna have to work hard along the way. The universe isn't just going to give it to you. So just remember, everything that you do, you're thinking about your future and where you want to be in another 3 years' time or another 5 years' time. Okay. Right then. So social media. I love this one. I love social media, as you probably all know. My face is everywhere, which is great. I love it, because I think it's so important for all of us, no matter what industry or service-based business that you're in, is that you show your faces. And you're all probably squirming right now, but it is so important, guys, that social media is so powerful because it's everywhere and that's what everybody's on. It was really hard for people probably 20 years ago, because they did have to just rely on recommendations. But now you've got social media to teach, to educate, and just show and get trust between you and your clients, which I think is really important. And firstly, remember that attention is your new finance. So you need to get people like interested in what you've got going on. If nobody can trust you or understand who you are, you're not going to get clients that want to buy from you. I think it's so valuable to capture people's attention, and sometimes I have to do really silly reels and things like that, but it works. And once you've got someone's attention, you can then foster so much trust, and trust is what converts them into clients. So that's what's going to keep them loyal. That's what's going to keep them recommending you. And I think that's really important. So let's dive into these three kind of key aspects of successful social media strategy. Again, there's going to be things on here that I like to do. There's going to be things that you're going to think, not sure about that for my business, or it can be tweaked. So, keep an open mind and keep your notebook open. So, moving past sort of vanity metrics, it's easy to get caught up in likes and shares, having a big following, but the real value lies in the engagement, because this is what turns and translates it all into business growth and where you are now and where you could be in 3 to 6 months in your ladder. So you need to focus on really meaningful interactions and interactions that enhance more relationships with your audience. Secondly, your brand voice. Again, having your face on the camera is really important. This is what sets you apart from the person that just does a before and after. Honestly, it really does. Everything that you do should resonate with your target audience and reflect your brand's values and personality. So I'm not saying go on social media, put your face out there and copy what everybody else has done, because that's not you. Yeah. People are coming to you because they want to come to you. There could be 3 other people in your street, but your audience will come to you. I can promise you that. So you need to find out what sets you apart, and who you are, and get that on social media. Thirdly, consistency over intensity, because consistency, not posting 3 times a week or a month, I'm talking posting 1 or 2 times a day, that's going to build familiarity and trust. So you've got to develop a manageable schedule that you can adhere to. Okay, if you can't do twice a day, start with once. If you could do 5 times a week, that's better than posting here, there, next week, next couple of weeks, next month. As long as you've got a strategy that you stick to, and you can look at your insights on your social media, see what time people are online, and grab their attention when they're online. Usually that's kind of first thing in the morning, so when you're first waking up, for the early birds, and then it's usually after work, so anytime between 6 and 9 p.m. So if you're not posting around 6 to 9 p.m., I think you're missing a massive audience. But it's better to be consistent with valuable content, rather than just like bursts of intense activity that's not really getting much traction. Like I say, you don't have to have 10 million followers to grab the attention of people. I don't have a huge following, but I have a fully booked diary, and that's because I'm so consistent in what I do. I'm not trying to rub it in anyone's faces. I'm just trying to prove to you how important it is to be consistent with what you're posting and showing how valuable you are and gaining people's trust. So by embracing all of these strategies, you'll be well equipped to leverage your social media, I promise. Not just for visibility, but for creating the connections that lead to your conversions, i.e., turning them into clients. And again, that doesn't matter what industry you're in. You could, same from me before, you could be a horse rider, you could be, I don't know, a dentist. It doesn't matter what you are. Your beauty business, hairdresser, it all follows the same rule. I think people think that maybe there's something different for each industry. There's not. You've just got to be consistent. It's really important. And crafting the perfect pitch is an art form, but you're okay to slip up and get things wrong. That's okay, because that's you. But having a strong pitch and a strong value, like in your bio and your first 3 pin posts, really important. If I was going to focus on anything, I'd make sure your first 3 pin posts were you, all about you, who you are, even into your family life, who you are, what you're about, and what you're offering. Your results, so yes, your before and afters, and then it could either be your reviews, from clients. These all should be coming from, like your booking system or your Google business profile. And we'll probably be laughing now because I talk about Google business profile all the time. But I tell you what, it's the best thing I ever did for my business. And every single one of my reviews are on my Instagram. or on my Facebook. So, and that proves that it's real results. So yeah, your bio needs to be super strong, who you are, what you're about, where you're from, and what you're offering to people. And then your first 3 pinned posts are your important bits. If you want to dive a little bit away from that, so colour scheme, pretty simple, the same. Try not to be too all over the place. But your main 3 pin posts are what people are going to see first. So you need to just make sure that that just covers those 3 things. Review you, your work, and then your reviews. If it's not reviews because you teach, then because you are just in beauty or in your service, then maybe reviews from your courses, or people that you've taught, and students rather than clients. And then always make sure when you're in your bio or on your posts, make sure you are leaving them with a strong call to action. So this should be really clear and really concise, inviting them to take the next step. So a link tree in the bio, not loads of different links, just one link that takes them to where they need to go. The same at the end of your post. DM me for more information, drop me a message. DM me the word scale or DM me the word beauty for more information, and it just gives them a bit of a call to action to message you, or click on your link, link in bio, that sort of thing. Or maybe get yourself a little newsletter, and you can have that sent out to their emails through your booking system. That's really cool. So obviously you're always engaging. You could do a Sunday newsletter about what's coming up for your week, what treatments are available, your prices, what offers you've got going on. So hopefully a little bit of the social media side has helped you there. Again, I can't see the comments at the minute, but any questions, please pop in the comments or drop me a message. That is fine, and I'll help you wherever I can. So, okay, I've kind of covered this a little bit, but I will go over it. So when you're presenting your social media posts or reels, these are the 4 things that you need to make sure are like hounding your clients and hounding your audience rather. So if you're presenting the sort of perfect pitch, I want you to go through these 4 main points. And your first point is, of course, your hook. So how are you drawing these people in? How do they want what you've got? And you've got 3 seconds to get their attention. So if you've not got them in the matter of 3 seconds, they've scrolled past and they're not interested. So you've got to have a real strong hook in your comment, in your description, or on the post itself. For example, you could say, I help women 40 plus look 10 years younger using this strategy, using this treatment. Okay, I'm over 40. I'm not. Example, I'm over 40. I want to look 10 years younger. So it hooks you in straight away. Then you're going to cover the process. This is really good to do with carousels. So you can let them swipe. They're massive on Instagram at the moment. So that's another one. Reels and carousels are your biggest thing at the moment. If you don't know how to do carousels or reels, again, please message me and I'll help you. Then you're going to cover the process. So you need to provide a high, strong level overview that outlines how their transformation can be achieved. And you need to get that point in straight across. Keep it concise, keep it focused, and avoid overwhelming them too much. So nice and simple. That's all you need to do. And then don't forget the call to action at the end. This is the clear step that you want your audience to take. So be specific and direct, and guide them confidently to messaging you, whether that's through the link in the bio or dropping you a message, or maybe you leave your WhatsApp number if you're happy to do that. Not everybody wants to leave their details, which is understandable, but unfortunately with service-based businesses, that is something that you might need to do. It just makes it so much easier for people. And then remember that you need to kind of tailor your language to resonate with your audience. So my audience is mature clients, and it always has been. So I have to talk to them. It's not good for me to be talking to a 20-year-old or an 18-year-old that wants big, heavy Russian lashes, because that isn't what I do. And I wouldn't be able to talk to them for that. So everything that I talk about and the way my voice comes across is quite mature. So you need to remember that as well. They're going to look at how you write things and the words that you use, the phrases. So what is a really good idea is to kind of go through certain profiles of your audience and see what words they use and what tags they've got, because you can pull that away and use it into your like carousel or the work that you do. And then to kind of enhance the engagement, you could incorporate some storytelling elements. So share brief case studies that illustrates your point that you're getting across. Make it memorable, make it relatable, or add in the silly reels. You know, they're quite fun and get people laughing and liking and getting your post like shared out there a little bit more. You can use like infographics as well, but I'm not a massive fan, really, I've got to be honest. But you can use them to like reinforce key points and just make your pitch a little bit more appealing visually. It's not so much to just capture the attention, but it also helps them kind of retain information. And I think that's it really on that side of the social media. Again, any questions, please do message me, because I know there's a lot of information to take in, but hopefully a few points there and snippets have helped you a little bit about what you can use. So when you're storytelling, like what we talked about previously, it is a real powerful tool in your marketing, because that is what's going to bring the human connection. You need to make sure that you are kind of overcoming challenges, transformations, and really resonate with your audience. Don't shy away from the messy middle. Okay, that's really important too, because that's being authentic. Nothing is always nice. For example, your brow removal process. If you do microblading removal, it's a horrible process. You know, you're going to go from having these blocky brows that you don't like to most likely going through to red brows, or, you know, that hue of red that we get when we remove them. But then you need to give them that result of having the nice clean hair strokes, the nice end result that's going to kind of get them to buy off you, because you're sharing that messy middle, which not a lot of people do. But I think it's important to be really real, because that builds trust and it fosters a deeper bond between you and your client. So make sure the storytelling, you take them on a journey, because I think it's really important that you do that. And I think that really does gain a lot of trust with your audience. Obviously, you can do this in many different formats. So, videos, you could do it on a podcast, you could do it through blogs, just through your social media is fine, TikTok. But I do think having the consistency through maybe 1 to 2 platforms is important, especially when you're in the beginning. If you're spreading yourself really thin over lots of platforms, you'll struggle. So pick your two. My two are Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is my number one. That's where I built all my clients from, through groups, sharing transformations, and that is what led me to being really busy. Again, now a lot of that is through recommendation. So as you do build that up through all your reviews and sharing to different groups, you know, there's millions of people on Facebook. You should be using it. 100% you should be using it. And also your business Google profile. That's really important. Again, I'm sure Emma is laughing at me at this point. So let's build on the community to kind of conversion, because this is important. It's just building on that storytelling slide. The key here is to focus on the movement as well, not just building your audience. Because when we engage with our community, it's really crucial to remember that engagement is a two-way street. So this means listening to your audience and responding to them, rather than just broadcasting everything. So always make sure that you're replying to comments, and if people are asking you things, how things are done, if they want to know, get a video on it, get it up, put it on your YouTube or put it on your social media on a reel, short snippets of the process. I think it's really important to make sure you're responding to what they want. So consider it as a 80-20 rule, that you should provide 80% of content is value, but 20% is focused on pitching the product or service. And that will just make your audience feel valued, not just sold to. So rather than just sell, you are providing them value, going back to giving them education, a bit of knowledge, and it proves to them that you're real, and why they should trust you. I think it's a big advocate for your brand as well if you can do that. It is the true power of moving the audience to a conversion of a client. And I think to start, you need to just find the core values of your audience. So again, mine is mature clients, and most people will come to me and say, I don't want big blocky thick brows, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I take them through a process, because you've got to, and that needs to be shown through your social media. So your message has got to align, everything that you put out there has got to align with your values, your creativity, your crafting stories, your content, and speak directly to them. Authenticity is super key. So people can sense when a brand is genuine, and then that will bring the loyalty. I promise it really will. Right then, next slide. So selling. Okay. The first key point is that selling is serving. Okay. So this means shifting your mindset to see selling not as a pushy task, but as an opportunity to provide a solution to someone's problem. And that's the same going back to your social media hook. You've got to provide a solution to someone's problem in 3 seconds. This is what I can do for you. Okay. And then that makes them think, oh, okay, I want to look more into that. So you've got to reframe your salesy energy. Some people have got salesy energy, some people haven't. If you haven't, that's fine, you can learn it. But if you haven't, you're probably better off that way, because you are more authentic then, because you really want to be able to get clients. Where if you're naturally a good salesperson, I think it can come off a little more salesy. So whether a potential customer is an absolute yes or an absolute no, it shouldn't affect your enthusiasm or belief in the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling. I think it then kind of, the detachment allows you to focus on the customer's needs rather than the pressure of closing the sale itself. So consider the sell a destination, and a journey. So you've got to slowly take them through the journey. If somebody messages you about brows, for example, how much do you charge for brows? Well, take them through a step-by-step journey. Don't just throw your price out there straight away, because that doesn't work. They are obviously just looking around for prices. You need to take them on a little bit of a journey. Have you already had microblading, for example? Or what is the reasoning behind you wanting the microblading? Then they'll tell you a story, and then you can lead off that. Don't throw your prices out there straight away. You've got to gain their trust. So I think this sort of mindset really can like transform the interaction that you have with your clients, by serving them and telling them a little bit about you and the way you do it, and your process, rather than just sell straight away, because you'll lose them straight on that first connection, and you'll find that people just don't message back, or they'll message back a month later when they've gone round everybody else. So let's talk about that in a bit more context, I suppose. So your product has to positively impact your audience, and it's about highlighting that in real life transformations, like I said before, reels, storytelling, and make sure that your message has so much relatability and credibility, and that you're just not a person at the end of the phone just going, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that. Like, why do they want things done? You know, is it important to them for a wedding, or, you know, because they haven't had brows since they were 15 years old, you know, because they overplucked? Like, you've got to kind of get on side with them. And I think that then kind of leads us into handling objections, because that is the hardest part, when people just go, nope, sorry, that's not for me. But it's a real crucial part of any sales process, and it happens to us all, even the people who are super experienced from the people who are just starting out. And it's part of every single sales process that any industry has. It often can be the turning point in your interaction with a potential customer, whether it goes south, that's not south, south or north, whether it's a yes or a no. So price objection usually revolves around the perceived value rather than the cost. Well, that's too expensive, I can't afford that. Yeah, but what can't you afford? My knowledge and my experience and the credibility that I've already got. Or do you want to go to Linda down the road, who's £150, who's, you know, clearly got severe issues using a machine, and you can see that through her work? Well, yeah, she might be £100 cheaper, but you need to make sure you guide them through that journey, because your value will always outweigh cost for the right people. So if somebody wants to go and find someone cheaper, I would let them go, because they'll always be difficult. Time objection is the issue about priorities rather than availability. So you need to help your client see how you're offering, what you're offering, and how you're offering can save them time. So, or, you know, efficiency with their day to day. You need to, do you wake up and have to draw your eyebrows on every day? Do you wake up and have to use this certain toothbrush every day, or whatever industry you're in? You need to give them a reason that it's going to save somebody time, because that's what we all want back, is time. Your trust objection. So this is where authority and proof come into play. Establish trust by sharing your testimonials, your case studies, and then the people that kind of are willing to pay the higher prices will be absolutely fine with all of your work. Most people come to me and they'll say, I've seen all your work on Facebook, that's why I've come to you, because I like the way you do it. Yeah, so that's how you need to gain people's trust, is by sharing your testimonials and your case studies and any proof of your expertise and reliability. In every case, you need to actively listen and understand the root of the objection, rather than just going, oh God, she's being awkward. You know, there might be an objection now because there's a family problem, and they'll say, oh, okay, I'll come back to you. And then you just think, oh God, well, she isn't interested. But really what you should be doing is filtering into that message system and saying, hey, hope you're okay. I just wondered if you'd had any more time to think about your brows. If not, no worries, I'll speak to you soon. And they might absolutely ignore you. And that's okay. That's normal. Because when that person's ready, they will definitely come back. If you have given them a good journey so far, you'll find that 3 months' time, when they do want it done, they'll come back to you, because you've given that really nice journey. So ultimately handling objections is, you know, about maintaining open, trusting, respectful communication between you and your client. So I hope that helps. We've only got a few more slides, guys, so hopefully you can hang on, because I'm just going to go into the journey of AI and automation. Yes, we like this. So what we was talking about a little bit earlier about your platforms and how automation can really help you with time. It's all about working smarter, not harder. And it definitely isn't just a catchy phrase that people use, because it is about making sure you can free up time to become better at what you do. So you need to think of AI as being your kind of virtual co-founder, for example. It can handle repetitive tasks, automation, replying to messages on social media. All of that takes up your time on an evening when you could be eating dinner with your family. So a good one to note down is ManyChat. That's brilliant for automation through social media. Like I mentioned before, Claude is another very good AI, excuse me, especially for teachers who are that want to put courses together and things like that. I think it's amazing. You need to look up Claude if you don't know about it. We are in a digital age right now, and you've got to embrace it as an advantage. And I do think it's a necessity. There's so much that you can put together with AI, and I think you can then reclaim so many hours in your day, because you haven't got to worry about replying to 10, 20 messages when you get home from work, when you're knackered, when you just want to spend time with the little one or your husbands or your wives, because automation is doing it for you. A little bit similar to when you booked onto the webinar. All my emails are all set out ready to go, so I haven't got to think about every single day, how am I going to remind this person that they're coming on the webinar. It's all automated and it's all set up how I want it set up with the correct keywords, and that can really help you. So I think you need to, if you're a bit against AI, you need to be on side with AI, because it can really help your business. It can help maintain business. It can help push your business. It can help you grow. ChatGPT, you'll see a lot of people using ChatGPT right now, putting images together. I wouldn't always rely on ChatGPT for full correct information. No, I don't work for ChatGPT. But it does make things so much easier. I absolutely love Canva. I do a lot of work on Canva. I like to put things together myself, so it does feel a little bit more authentic. But you can also then put that into ChatGPT and clean it up and make it look professional, put all the little posters and the stick bits on. So, I think my main go-tos are probably Canva, ChatGPT, Claude, and ManyChat is very good. If you are going into a higher level of courses and wanting to do funnels and things like that, then Go High Level is probably the ultimate. So if you're unsure about that, look up Go High Level, because it's absolutely fantastic. So I think it's also good with AI that you can brainstorm your content pillars and things like that. So give yourself core themes that will guide your content creation, ensure that you're consistent through what you're saying across all platforms. And then you can repurpose your long form content into short form pieces, because that's what AI can do for you. And obviously it can write out emails and descriptions like that. So again, you need to be able to put your own little authenticity on it. But if you're not down with AI, you need to get down with AI. Honestly, it is really worth it. It is worth getting you there, I promise. So let me see. So if you kind of are ready to kind of step up your content level, you need to adapt all these little strategies that I've kind of given you today, that is going to give you a bit more time and focus on what really matters. And that is building your relationship with your clients and making sure you've got time with your family, making time, you've got time for yourself so you can invest even more. And then I think when you put all that together, you just have this little journey and you can unlock so much more potential of yourself, having AI as like your kind of, like we said before, your like virtual co-founder. Um, it's massive. So I think it's really important that you probably get your head stuck into what you can use. If you're not sure what automations and workplaces you can use, then again, please kind of message me, because it can, honestly, it just captures everything. So it can capture client onboarding, as it says, which welcomes clients without you needing to be there. It can capture like a nurture sequences. So once it gets speaking about and it's responding through the client, it will just continue to nurture that message sequence, because if you aren't responding to a client within 5 minutes, you've probably lost that client, where your automation will keep that client warm for you. And then when you've got 5 minutes, you can drop in a personal message. And I think that's important, that it doesn't always look automated, that you drop in and say, hi, it's me, you know, and you give somebody some time. And I think it is really important that you use AI to its advantage. I really do. So I'm not going to go on too much more, but if some of this has resonated with you, then I would love to be able to work with anybody that wants to grow, that needs help building their business. If this is something that does interest you, then please feel free to drop me a message. I do have a 3-month platform where I work with you one-to-one, and I support you every day of the week. We have live calls, there's modules, workbooks, tasks, and all we do is consistently grow your strategy, your content, and you get kind of exclusive resources and templates, and it just keeps you on track. A lot of people really get it wrong, where they think they can do it all alone, where sometimes you just need somebody behind you to help you along the way, even if it's just to kind of go, like, what have you done today, you know? And that's what I want to be here for. So if you are keen on getting a little bit further with what you're doing, the course is normally 1297, but for you guys that have been on the webinar today, you can pay through finance up to 12 months. But the 3 months will be 997. And when I say I will literally hold your hand through every step of the way, I'll hold your hand through every step of the way. I just want to see people succeed. So if not, that's absolutely fine. You can still drop me a message and I'll help you where I can. Drop us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, or wherever. And I hope this has been really helpful for you guys. I'm going to bring myself back onto Zoom. Hope I haven't bored you all too much, and I hope it's been really interesting. Just to take a little bit of extra information, I'm just going to try and unmute you all so I can just say bye properly. And if there's anything that you need from me, please say. I hope that's been helpful, guys.
That was really good.
Good. I hope it's helped a little bit, even if it's just taken a little bit of tips away from what you already do. Felt like I just got into my own self. I forgot you were there at one point. So hopefully.
Well, I had to take my camera off because I was getting tapped by my dog. And I thought this is really distracting. So that's why I had to take the screen off, because the little shit would leave me alone.
Well, I thank you all for being here. Like I say, if there's anything that anybody needs, please drop me a message. on Instagram. If you want to join the platform, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, you don't have to. I'm always around. I'm always on the membership helping them where I can. So yeah, I hope you all have a lovely evening. And I'm
Thank
going to
you.
stop boring you all now.
No, it was good. I've made loads of notes.
Good.
Yes, me
Good.
too.
Good. I hope it's helped a little bit, even if you've already got the information and it's just clarified everything for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope you all have a lovely evening.
You too.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.